Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Canadian Gamers. I believe we're episode 118. It might be slightly wrong because Tim recorded a few episodes. I am not sure when, and he never recorded the audio file, so they're not on this thing. So we might be actually off a few titles right now, but maybe not. Don't worry, Jared is here. So I brought the big ratings guy. He's along with me. Say hi.
Hello, how are you?
And we just recorded a podcast like last week, a few days, like maybe 5 days ago, and we're hoping we can get back into the schedule here. So I don't think we're gonna have a schedule like we used to. We used to have a podcast every 2 weeks up. I think now we'll do one whenever we feel like it, but for now we've made some kind of arrangements that I think will allow us to have maybe sometimes a few podcasts a week and then maybe once a month. We'll see. We'll just roll it and we'll see how it goes, and maybe we'll have another podcast not until next year after this one. Who knows? But Tim has been bothering me, so I'll try to record something with Tim later this week because I want to make sure he knows how to do this, because I don't. Because right now we both record on Audacity and then you somehow magically put it together. But if I record one with Tim, I want to make sure he knows what to do or whatever. We'll figure this out. I also want to thank you guys because Jared posted this morning, we're recording this on a Monday, Polymega overview video, and it's killing it. Like the last time I checked, the views were ridiculous, and there was like probably the most commented video we did this year, which is not saying a lot because we didn't do much, but still like people were really loving it. So, and I've been really missing these podcasts. I have nobody to talk to about this kind of stuff, so it's a lot of fun to do these. So we're just going to do another one. We're going to do a more general gamers this time, and we're going to talk about Polymega and other stuff like that. So I'll just let you say a few words, and of course you'll say the joke again, and then we'll move along.
No, I was gonna say a few words, but
but
that's old. It's old news, man. It's old news. I mean, look, let's be completely honest, completely transparent, and just say what it is, right? People came to this channel. This channel was founded on two pillars or two platforms, and our podcast became slowly but surely the third platform. So the first was Saturn Day. That really caused this channel to become something. And yes, The Last of Us is what gave us our initial boost, but after that, it was really like Saturn Day became like a staple. You know, people came to the channel expecting that. This channel actually became like a source of information for the Sega Saturn on all across YouTube. I don't know if we have the most content anymore, but we certainly have a lot. Like we have a lot. We have around 85%, something like that, of all the North American games have been reviewed. So it's significant. And then, of course, the second thing was Dragon Quest. We had a lot of different Dragon Quest related content, got a lot of followers from that, especially with Dragon Quest X, which I gotta, get back into with Cranberry. Just scheduling has just been brutal. That's the same problem that we've had with the third pillar, which has been these podcasts. It's just been challenging to find the necessary time in order to make this happen. But we seem to be getting back into the thick of things. Personally, I would love to go back to a fixed schedule just because it's fun. It really is. It's just fun. I have no one else I can talk to about these sorts of things. And thanks to the Polymega, I'm actually thinking about what can I actually do now? So I mean, that's one of the things that we'll be talking about, I think, during this podcast today. Steven's leading it, is going to be about that, to say, like, what can we do? I was even thinking of potentially doing a video asking you all, what would you like to see? Because I keep seeing people comment on a daily basis, practically, begging for Saturn Day to return. But the issue I have with that is there's a finite amount of games, and I've covered like a lot, right? I haven't covered everything, of course, but I have covered a lot, and a lot of the stuff I have to find. And I know that sounds silly and it sounds ridiculous, but it takes time to find these things. So currently what I'm doing is I'm just trying to find my Sega Saturn games and just upload everything, literally everything. And the same holds true for TurboGrafx. You may not know this, but I have a rather significant collection of TurboGrafx 16 CD games. And I'd love to talk a little bit about those because there's so many games that just were never ported anywhere else. And yeah, some, like a lot of them were ported to like the Virtual Console on the Wii, but that was years ago now, right? Like that was a long, long time ago. And so it would be nice to shine the spotlight on some of those games as well.
Yeah, I left a comment this morning about this. I think you should just redo some of the biggest games, the games you're most passionate about, and just call it Saturn Day 2.0 or something like that. I think it will be highly successful, and I think it's a good idea. Like some of these games you haven't talked about in like 5 or 6 years. Like I think this would work. It would be like you would give you a chance to replay some of these games for a little while, and then do a brand new review of it. I don't think that's such a bad idea. I think it would work. Of course, you can mix it in with a few new games you haven't covered yet, but like I think this would be fantastic just to call it like Panzer Dragoon Saga review and then put Saturn Day 2.0 next to it, and voila. So it will still be differentiated from the original review, but still I don't see I think that would be a no-brainer to me.
No, and honestly, I think that's actually a good idea. And I'd like to hear what people think about that, because like my video editing skills have improved. I actually can design different introductions now and things like that. Like there's definitely potential here to do something. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean the thing that I would like to do. And the thing that I'm thinking about is not pressuring myself. And I think that's going to be key, because what I'd love to do is, instead of making this like a weekly sort of feature, I'd rather if I could actually play through the games today, right? And talk about how do they hold up? Like how did I feel going through Shining the Holy Ark as an example? Like, like does that actually, is it still as fun as I remember, or is it all nostalgia? And it's the same thing for Panzer Dragoon Saga and all the other games, because it's been so long, right? Like you said, I mean, it's been like 5 years for most of the games, and I think it's a good idea, honestly. I think there's something there, but I would really like to hear from other people if there's other things as well, because with the Polymega, it's connected directly into my capture card. So, like, there's literally nothing stopping me from playing almost anything.
The issue I can see here is you will get overwhelmed by requests, and you'll probably end up just doing what you were going to do anyway. That's what usually happens with your limited time. People will throw a bunch of games at you. That's what I...
No, that's true. That's true.
Will happen here. So, and like I said, I don't think you should like pressure yourself to do Saturn Day every week. I think you just do Saturn Day if one pops a month, if one pops every 3 months, whatever. And
no, exactly. No, and Stephen, I honestly, no, I like that, and I do like that because like one of the first
every
games,
video we do, there's always a Saturn Day comment. Always.
Yeah, I know.
It's like even somehow beginning to be a bit annoying, but I get it. But it's like Saturday every video. So I'm sure if you would make 2 Saturn Days this year, people would be glad. Like it's something that needs to be revived.
No, I like that. Ashes. Truly, I like that. So okay, all right. So shall we start this podcast in a more official capacity? What's on the menu?
The first menu, I want to talk about the Polymega, because you did a video this morning. I thought it was really interesting. You already answered my biggest question about it, so I'll talk about it slightly after. I do want to say that it was really fun to listen to our old COE mascot team there. You always said it was from Police Knots, but
Yep.
I've never played that game, obviously. But it was very clear when you were trying to play that game. Hearing that tune was kind of nostalgic for me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'm on Discord right now. They have a Discord. I don't know what you call it, a channel or a page or whatever. And we're all lost. Everyone is lost at why this is not working. Because, and I mean, I could actually play through Police Knots in English for the first time in my life. Do you know how enticing that is? That is so enticing. But I don't understand what's going on. I'm following the instructions, and I show you guys in the video, like, it's clear as day that it sees the patch. It just doesn't apply the patch to the game. And so
Did you try to go in the game? Like, you were in the menu screen, but did you try to go in the game?
Well, if you heard the music, you must have seen in the game.
I only saw the menu screen was like in Japanese.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
did you
that's
click anything on it?
No, I did, and it's all Japanese.
Okay.
And what's crazy is that the Polymega, like the company itself, released a video showing you switching back and forth between Japanese and English on Police Knots on the Saturn. So we're all confused why this isn't working. It's the same translation I'm using. I'm not doing anything like funky here, but for whatever reason, it just won't apply. And I tried the same thing with Rondo of Blood. There's a PSP, it's basically PC Engine to PSP. So it takes the PSP translated text and everything. And when I apply the patch, the screen just goes black and it never boots the game. So I don't quite understand like what I'm doing wrong. I'm sure it's me. I'm positive it's me. So I'm just waiting for smarter people to get a hold of the Polymega, and then they can run the tests and stuff. And I'm hoping that someone can show like a step-by-step walkthrough, because there's nothing illegal about a translation patch. Nothing is illegal about that. So like the person could show the website that they go to, they could show the file that they're downloading, like they could literally show the entire process. And I'm hoping that someone does a video of that, because I would just adore being able to review Police Knots on the Saturn in English would be phenomenal. And not just that, but there's so many others like Deep Fear. It would be great to be able to show you guys that. I know there's the European version of Deep Fear, which I do own, but I have no idea where that is. So it would be so much easier to just take my Japanese copy, download a translation patch, and apply the translation patch. That would be amazing to show you guys. And I'm telling you, this system is going to stay connected for all time, because once Super Nintendo and all that starts, once those modules are released and I'm able to download those games, that's going to be just absolutely amazing to be able to take all my Dragon Quest games, play all those in English, just like the reproduction cart that I got for you. I'd be able to do essentially the same thing, but all legal. Everything is legal because it's not ROMs. So you're taking your own game and you're simply essentially making a backup of that game, but you can't share the backup. You can't do anything like that.
Is that really legal?
Sure. It's legal to
because you're making a backup of a game, but then you could technically give that game to another guy who has a Polymega.
Correct.
You can basically
yes.
forever.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that really, truly legal?
It would be legal in the context that none of this stuff is currently available, and if there's no money involved, I don't see the grounds for illegality, which I don't think that's even a word. Just because nothing is nothing's for sale. You can't, and you're not selling it, and you're not uploading it. You don't have a mechanism to extract it from your card.
No, that's true, but then again, you could make the same argument about downloading an SNES ROM on your computer, saying that, well,
yeah,
but
the difference with that would be, where did you get that ROM? Like here, you have to own the cartridge.
No, but you don't if you lend it to
no,
someone
right,
who doesn't
right,
own
and I get
what
that. I totally get it, dude.
Ethical dilemma here.
Yeah, no, exactly. And hey, listen, if there's any lawyers that are listening to this, let us know. But I'll tell you right now, like, if they're opening a store, then like there's got to be something here, because like they would have already gotten sued their pants off of.
No, but the store, they're no, I'm saying that not the system itself illegal. I mean the practices of dumping your games on a system seems fishy, since you can then like basically give that game to anybody else. Anyway, it's not a big deal. I'm just wondering the technicalities of this.
Yeah, no, and
because
dude,
the store itself is going to be a digital store, so obviously it's fine because they're going to be selling off games with licensing deals and all that. So
yeah,
they're not going to be selling stuff without permission of said company to do. So that's all clear, obviously.
yeah, I think if it's just that, like, if they're looking at it from the point of view that it being locked, and if they look at it from the point of view that, you know, that you own it, yes, of course you could give it to someone else and do it. Look, honestly, I don't know. It's an interesting that's an interesting discussion to have. I truly don't know in terms of legalities and stuff. I think personally, I think that these things, in terms of just licenses alone, I think just nobody cares. I think it's just because it's like, for the vast majority of these games, like, who even knows who these things belong to anymore in terms of licenses. Of course, your Nintendo, you know, your big Nintendo games, your big Sega games, that I would be like, okay, yeah, you know, interesting. How does that work? But for the vast majority of these games, I don't even know. Like, I bet like half the companies don't even exist anymore. So I don't know. It's interesting though. That's an interesting point.
Okay, so the other one I was gonna ask you this morning, and maybe you can clarify it again here. It was you said the system itself comes with preloaded games, right?
Yep, that's right.
And these games they're not new games, or they're old games but licensed?
Yeah,
Is that
so
what you said?
okay, so basically what happened is the company that owns Polymega is actually just the console. It's not actually the company itself. I forget what they're called. I don't remember what they're called. It's like Playimagi or something like that. Hold on a second. It's going to drive me nuts. One sec. Sorry, I know. What is it? Polymega. Who owns Polymega? What is it? Playimagi. Hey, not bad. There you go. It's a company called Playimagi. So what they did is they went and they licensed out a whole bunch of games. The ones I showed you. Okay, there's got to be something like 30 games that come with this thing, of the different platforms that I showed you. So like NES had about like what 10 or 12 games. Those ones looked like they were brand new. So those look like, I don't think those were retail release games. However, 40 Winks on the PlayStation, at least in Europe, was released. So that's a real game. On the N64, it was never released. There was actually a Kickstarter for that because someone bought the rights to it and so on. But it was released on the PlayStation. And then if you look at the TurboGrafx 16, those are all released games. So obviously, I would be willing to say that the platform holder for those, or license holder for those particular games, is most likely one or two companies, and they just licensed those particular games to have them on this platform.
Okay, that makes more sense. And is there anything, because you said what are the current models for the Polymega right now? It's only the CD stuff, right?
Okay, yeah. So from what I know, as of now, you cannot even buy this platform. You can pre-order it. It's supposed to come out this November. It's exclusive to Walmart, which I thought was kind of interesting. And right now, in terms of beta testing, the core model is what they call it. It comes with the ability to play. Okay, so let's get this straight. It's PlayStation, all types. So that means North American, PAL, and Japanese. Sega Saturn, same thing. All three. TurboGrafx, I don't think that was ever released in Europe. So I think it's TurboGrafx 16, TurboGrafx or Turbo Duo games, so all the CD-based games that were released in North America, and then all of the Japanese variants. Now, what I showed you guys in the video was that goes all the way up to and including the arcade card. So if you guys don't remember, for the TurboGrafx 16 or the PC Engine, you required a special hue card that essentially was like a RAM boost pack. Think of it like the N64 expansion pass, or whatever that was called. Jumper, what was it called? The red thing there?
The jumper pack?
Is that what it was? Jumper pack? Okay, so think of it like that. It works like that. So you would put the system card in the hue card slot, and then your CD would be a Super CD-ROM game. And they did this a couple of times that maxed out with an arcade card that totally bombed. It was, I forget how many games were released. I think it's like 10 or maybe not even. But it wasn't that many that were released that used that specific like card. And so what's so cool with the Polymega is that it does all of this in the background. And the same thing is true for the Sega Saturn with the 2 megabyte RAM pack. It automatically knows when a game can use it, and then it automatically applies it to the game. So something like Street Fighter, what is it? Street Fighter versus X-Men, was that it? Or X-Men versus Street Fighter, or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, guys. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart. So that's really cool. And then the other, so what did I say? I said PlayStation, I said the TurboGrafx stuff, the Sega Saturn stuff. They also have full compatibility with Sega CD, which is absolutely awesome. Like that, I think is brilliant. That's the next thing I'm going to upload once I'm done with my Sega Saturn stuff, because there are a few, not many, but there are a few really awesome games on the Sega CD that were just never ported anywhere else. So being able to play these like with ease on something for your modern day television is phenomenal. And finally, the last thing, if I haven't screwed this up, is Neo Geo CD. Now, there is something, and again, I'm not a lawyer, but this could cause a whole other discussion, is about backups. Because essentially what the system allows you to do is ROM dump, right? It allows you to put a game in, and then it saves to the core system. What's really interesting here is some of the really early CD systems had zero copy protection. So stuff like the Neo Geo CD, stuff like Sega CD, TurboGrafx 16 CD or Turbo Duo, none of those actually have copy protection. Meaning you, Steven, you could just buy a CD burner, buy a CDR, and burn your games, and the Polymega will not know any difference. It'll think it's the real game because it has no way of telling if it's a burnt game or not. So this works pretty much for every system if you're so inclined. And the reason I know that is because I have a couple of games over the years that have been sent to me from reproduction companies. Now, the catch here is if the reproduction company changed the game at all in any way, shape, or form, then the Polymega won't be able to install it. It will just be able to play it. So, for example, Shining Force 3. Shining Force 3 today, you can go online and you can get reproductions of all 4 discs, so the 3 different scenarios plus the premium disc, that have the translation patch already burnt into the games themselves, so that you can just experience Shining Force 3 as it was meant to be. With the Polymega, you can actually play that, but what you can't do is install it. So it's not as handy, but there is nothing stopping the Polymega team from basically changing the database to allow you to do that in the future, because everything is run by this database. So if you put a disc in, and there's a lot of TurboGrafx 16 games, I forget that RPG that was released that was awesome. I apologize, guys, if you're listening to this. I just can't think of what it was called. But that's one of these games where I'm really hoping they add it to the database, because it's a homebrew game that was absolutely phenomenal. Like, just phenomenal. And it deserves to be put in here. And the other last comment that I want to make about this before we can move on is that the Polymega is modular, right? I've mentioned this before, so you can pull in and take out a whole bunch of different stuff. But what I didn't know is that the CD system is actually like it stays there forever. I didn't realize that. I thought it comes off, but it actually doesn't. It's just, it looks like a brick that that comes off, and the new brick that you'd put on is the one that would have all the different cartridges, and it's those ones that I don't have the list. You know what? Let me look for the list right here. It's just in my email. It'll take half a second. Just go Polymega, and I'll tell you exactly. Okay, so here's what you get. So base unit with wireless controller. Then you have the power module. So there's the NES is its own standalone module. Then you have the SNES and Super Famicom module is its own thing. Then you have the Mega Drive Genesis 32X module. Then you have the PC Engine module is separate. And that's it. Okay, so those are the things. But remember that this does take in a whole bunch of different regions and stuff like that. But here's the thing. My last little comment on this is that, and it goes to your point, Stephen, what you were saying. What happens, and there is no answer for this, okay? But what happens when I buy, like, let's say I pick up the Super Nintendo one, right? And so I ROM dump all my games. Those games are saved to the internal memory, right? So what is stopping me from then giving the brick, the Super Famicom brick, or as Stephen loves to say, the SNES, Super NES. That's what you say, Super NES. So what is stopping me from just mailing him that brick with all my games and allowing him to do the same thing? And the answer is absolutely nothing. So I'm just not sure how successful this is going to be. And I don't want to say this as a negative thing, because I think it's brilliant. Truly, I think this is an amazing retro console. I'm just not sure how some of this stuff is going to work, because if I can send Steven that module with all my games and he just does the ROM dump, then technically he just got all of that for free.
Yeah, because once you do the ROM dump, you don't need the module anymore, right? To play
Yeah,
the games?
that's right. You don't need the module, and you don't need the game, because the module, really, truly, the module just allows you to use the various controllers and allows you to do the ROM dumps. So if you're not interested in using a real NES controller, then there's really no need. You can just use the wireless ones. And don't forget that this system is fully compatible with all the different wireless controllers, including the Xbox 360, the 8-bit-do, or whatever the hell it's called ones, those Sega Saturn controllers, like everything. Any USB controller, if you want to wire, any USB controller will work on this machine practically.
Okay, that's really interesting. And you said this was coming out in Walmart, right?
Yeah, it's a Walmart exclusive if you didn't pre-order it from the site,
Okay.
like the company itself.
Seems like a weird pick. I don't imagine Walmart customers going into the Walmart looking for a $400 retro system.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. You know, it's so weird. I don't want to insult any of these other like retro systems, okay? Because I just don't want to do that. But this is the first time I've experienced a retro system outside of the analog systems that have put this much care into what they're doing. And like, from the business standpoint, some of the moves they're making are just kind of weird to me. Like, this is the sort of system that should do phenomenally well. It really should. This should sell like crazy, because it's essentially like your all-in-one solution, especially if they add additional features as it goes on. So it's just weird. Like, why Walmart? I don't get that either.
Yeah, because $400 is a lot of money to ask someone that isn't hardcore. I don't know. I don't see the audience for this, but I could be proving wrong. Do you remember the system we covered once, Coleco or something like that? That the actual guy who was in charge of it actually came to the podcast to comment. You remember what it was called?
Yeah, of course, dude. That's still there. That's Tommy Tellerico, and that's the Intellivision Amico. And we were,
Amico.
yeah, we were making fun of it, like saying, like, "Are you guys crazy or whatever?" But hey, listen, power to us because that system still isn't out. Just so we're clear.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. Is it still coming out?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the update on it?
Well, it's supposed to be out later this year, but again, it's like, I think it's $300 and it plays like basically mobile games. So let me I don't want to, just in case he listens and kills us, I don't want to, let me just see. Amico Television, what is it? It is price $250.
And it's supposed to be coming out this year.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was delayed, right? Because it would.
Oh, yeah, of course. It's been like delayed, and delayed.
Okay, well, I'll keep an eye on that
But
one.
at least, dude, at least with that one, the thing I gotta give them is that they're teaming up with GameStop or GameSpot or whatever the hell it's called. GameStop. Yeah.
So they're teaming. Okay, so I don't know because GameStop might not be around.
No, I know, but at least
I do remember what we talked about. I still don't think there's a market for that system. Like, I'm not really sure there's one for Polymega, but at least Polymega seems like it could appeal to hardcore gamers. I just don't see the market for the Amico, but maybe they'll prove me wrong. We'll see. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, but my original stand on it still stands. I don't think there's a market for that, but I was just curious if it was still around because we've done that podcast ages ago.
No, exactly. And the truth is, like, there's definitely a market for retro stuff. And I think, like, Analog Interactive has monopolized the luxury market, like I forget what it's called, the FG something, like when it's like they're using hardware, so there's no emulation. There's certainly a market for that. There really is. With this, I'm just wondering if it's too expensive. That's what I'm wondering. I'm just wondering, like, is it just too expensive for what it does that, there won't be enough people? I mean, because just in the beta test, just from like the Discord, I mean, there's only like 30 people on the Discord. Now, what's awesome about that is that the feedback that I give them is actually being implemented into the machine. So I think that's wicked, right? Like, that's very, very cool. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Like, I'll be honest, like, I truly wish these guys the best of luck because I can't speak for anyone else. But for me, if this allows Saturn Day, as an example, to come back, it will be entirely because of this company, not because of anything else. And I think that's pretty awesome.
No, that's cool. It's just I'm wondering how much of an install base they will need for this to actually run for years to come, because they're going to run a store on this. So I imagine this ain't cheap if they only have like 50 systems sold or 100 systems sold.
Exactly.
I'm
exactly.
They'll need some decent numbers. I'm not saying they'll need 10,000 units sold, but I'm not sure what they will need for this to work.
No, and
curious to be.
Dude, I 100% agree, and I think Ahmed really nailed it, because he was like, right now, I don't know if you recall, but I mentioned in the video that they offer recommendations. And that's amazing. Like, it truly is amazing. So like you could play a game like Cotton and get introduced to cute 'em ups and then realize, like, oh my goodness, there's like, this is a whole genre, right? And there's like tons of games. But that feature is mostly useless except for like the Omega hardcore that can afford to go to eBay and spend $2,000 on a single game, because retro game prices are just astronomical today. So the only way that sort of feature is even useful is if you do have a game store. And if you do have a game store, then that changes things, because with games, you will get people. You know what I mean? Like, then I could see if the game store launches like tomorrow, then I could see, like, I do a whole other video and say, like, okay, now something like this is really worth it, because now not only are you able to do dumps of your own games, but now you have access to a wealth of retro games. But again, the other issue that I have with that is the licenses and the, like who has the rights to so many of these games, and the answer is who knows at this point.
Yeah, I think this will be worth it, but it's just if it will be marketable, because like if there's no install base, I'm sure you'll buy a lot of those games on the store, but you won't buy the same game twice, So they need a lot of people to purchase stuff on a weekly basis, I imagine, or a monthly basis, whatever you want to call it. So they need an install base, and to get that, because we've seen products before that were solid, that were worth the price of admission, that failed. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on this one. I'm hoping you do some follow-up videos on this. So yeah, that seems very, very interesting, especially for you who loves retro games and Avid. So any final thoughts on this before we move on?
Oh, just hoping I can get the patches to work, because if I can get the patches to work, I really truly think I'll be able to do some incredible videos for you guys on games that I'm like sort of experienced for the first time myself, in English anyway, which I think would be really, really cool. And I just think that, like this system allows us anyways access to do some very, very cool videos in the future. I mean, like, I have access now to Dragon Warrior 7, right, on the PlayStation 1 at any time. So, like, if we want to do a video in the future where we compare Dragon Quest 14 with, like something of the past, little things like that are going to go a long way, because they'll allow us to do that. And, like, who knows what the future holds if this thing does really well. And again, what does that mean? We don't know. But I'm excited. Truly, I'm very excited for this.
All right, good. So next thing I want to talk, I mentioned about this in Fanboys we did, that I was planning on starting Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, and I did start it yesterday, and I've played about 3 hours of it so far, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I just actually, for the first time, defeated the boss without dying, which was amazing. I actually didn't even need to use a potion for that one, which was surprising, because I was reading online how people were complaining about how easy this game was, and I'm there dying all the time. So it's probably just me being really bad at video games, but still I was kind of relieved to see myself actually beat a boss. It was the boss that gives you the option to double jump after, so I was finally able to actually do something decent in this game. But it's really solid so far. Really like it. Like these, I haven't played a Metroidvania in a while. I don't remember the last one I played, and it seems that the longer I go without playing one after just like I played it for like almost 3 hours yesterday in a single setting. So that doesn't happen that often with me anymore, unless it's Pokemon. So I was really glad. I was a bit disappointed though, because I was under the impression that this was in the same universe as Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, but it's clearly not. And I don't know if you realized this when you played, because I believe you told me that this was supposed to be a prequel to Curse of the Moon was supposed to be a prequel to Ritual of the Night, and that's what they teased it at when they kickstarted this game. I think Curse of the Moon was kickstarted, was a bonus project in the Kickstarter, and was made in like 6 months. And it's not in the same universe, which I don't know why they did that. Maybe they just could not coordinate. And like I said, Curse of the Moon was made in 6 months, so they probably didn't have time to make sure that it followed the specific story of Ritual of the Night. But I don't know if you had any thoughts on that.
No, it was like, I know that's how it was pitched and everything like that. But if you're saying that it's like part of a different universe or whatever, that's unfortunate, because it shares a lot in common with the other game, like with different characters and bosses or enemies and things like that. Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit of a shame. You'll really feel it though when you play the next one.
Curse of the Moon 2. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Curse of the Moon 2 is a sequel to the original Curse of the Moon, right?
Pretty well. You'll see. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay, so anyway, it's just because like there's a point in this game at the beginning where Myriad, is it Myriad or Miriam? Myriad, I believe. Whatever. One of the two. She meets Zangetsu, which Zangetsu is the main character in Curse of the Moon. And they don't even know each other, so it makes no sense. Plus, in the true ending of Curse of the Moon, does it like Zangetsu die or something? Anyway, it doesn't matter. But I did some research and like found out that it's not canon, and it was really obvious from the beginning of this game. Like, I thought it was just a missed opportunity. That's all.
Okay. Very good. But you're enjoying your time with the game right now?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. I just like before, because you texted me that you were ready like 10 minutes earlier. I was playing the game, so I had to go save. But it's like every time I have a free moment, I think I'll be doing that. And it doesn't seem like an overly long game. And if I can get my skills in order, maybe I'll be able to finish it this week, which would be nice. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I think you did enjoy it too, right? But
me, any of those Symphony of the Night like clone type games, I'm totally down. And this has Iga's like trademark like feel all over it. The only problem that I had with Ritual of the Night was when it's over, like I really want to play Metroid. That's the biggest thing, and it's like, damn you, Nintendo.
And that it's funny because sometimes I forget that this is not Castlevania, because a lot of the characters are basically knockoffs.
Oh yeah.
Characters you saw in previous Castlevania games, like
for sure.
It doesn't even try to hide the fact that
no, exactly, because
this is a Castlevania game. It's just under a different name.
That's it, exactly. And it's like Iga's like, "What are you gonna do? Sue me? Like, go make your pachinko like games. Screw off."
and I was wearing an outfit that was like Shovel Knight. What's the deal with that? They had a deal with whoever made.
Yeah, they did some. They I forget what the hell they did, but yeah, they had something like to honor Shovel Knight, because Shovel Knight's really like the game that put all these Kickstarters on the map for like the retro inspired stuff. Like, people don't realize, but Shovel Knight really did some damage in a good way for Kickstarter and video games, because for a long time there was so much damage done. There still is a lot of games that just never came out, or that were highly disappointing, such as like, your mighty, what was it, number 9 or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But at least Ritual of the Night is good. It did, like, it's not mighty number 9. That's what I told everybody. I'm like, this it lived up to what he said he was gonna do.
It did, but at the same time, like a Wii U version was promised. A Vita version was promised. Like, I don't know.
Okay, I don't mean about like that. I'm just saying, like, the game itself. Like, the game itself, like,
but
it's
I
not
that
crap.
If you were a Kickstarter, you invested money in this, and you only had like a Wii U or a Vita for some reason.
I get that.
Hypothetical. It must be frustrating, because like with Mighty Number 9, the same thing. Like, the 3DS version was never released. It's like, I don't know. It looks like there should be more. You should answer to your actions or something. You should be reprehensible, whatever word I'm looking for.
You should be not reprehensible, but you should. Yeah, you should be responsible. You should be responsible for what you say. What I was so thankful for with Ritual of the Night is just the game itself. The game itself lived up to what he said he was going to do. And yeah, there's bonus features that are still missing and stuff like that. But again, for me, it's the main game is what I'm talking about. When you play Mighty Number 9, like, the game was crap compared to like the lineage that this was based off of. At least with this, like, this feels like a Castlevania game. Like, you could easily call Miriam Belmont, and it would change nothing.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, it's fun. I'm really enjoying this, and I'll be quite curious to see if what I said is true. If I'll enjoy this, if I'll still enjoy more Curse of the Moon than this. But whatever the case, I'm glad to see that this is not a waste of time. It's still a fantastic game. and we'll probably never get another Castlevania like this. So I guess this will have to do. And so far, like, I'm really enjoying the Bloodstained universe, which is why I'm kind of disappointing that both series
it's not connected.
are
Yeah.
not connected. But
Yeah.
whatever. Well, it's not that important if the games are good. Like, I really, really enjoyed the original Curse of the Moon, and this one so far is living up to the hype. So I'll let you guys know once I play some more.
Awesome. What's next?
Next up, I want to talk about the next gen, specifically the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, whatever it's called, because they're supposed to be coming out this year.
Yeah,
we
in
still
theory.
don't have a price point. We still don't have a release date. Usually these things, we get a release date and a price point like in March or May, by that time at least, if they're going to go for October or November release. Right now, I know it's a lot to do because of COVID, but still, the PlayStation 5, by all accounts, is coming out this year. They've been clear on that. But they're both waiting to play. They're both playing the waiting game because Sony doesn't want to announce a PlayStation 5 at say $500 or $600, and then have Microsoft announce their system at $100 cheaper, whatever the case may be. So it looks like one is waiting for the other to announce the release date and the price point. So I don't know what's going on with that, and is that phone gonna be ringing for much longer, you bastard?
What are you talking about? What phone?
Oh, there's no phone ringing? Okay.
No, you're
So,
just on drugs.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Because you've seen a lot more console launches than I did.
What are you trying to say?
I'm just saying that
You
you're an
old
old
man.
guy. So this is unprecedented or so.
It's oh my god, man. The English is superb here. Yes, we're living in unprecedented times right now. Which is fantastic. But the truth is, yeah, man, I think COVID just literally shat on the whole world. And because of that, I think the companies are very, very, like, scared to release too much information right now. I mean, look at the United States as an example, right? You have, like, what, 35% inflation rate, not inflation, sorry, in layoff rates and stuff like that. Like when like almost half the country is out of work, maybe not a good time to say, oh, by the way, you know, Xbox Series X is going to cost $699 and PlayStation 5 is going to cost $5,000. Probably not the wisest move to do that. So I think the reason why we're seeing what we're seeing right now is that the companies truly just don't know what to do, because we've never experienced this before, and I think they just don't know what to do. I think it's that simple. I don't think this is anyone's like playing any game or anything like that. I just think they're lost, and they're worried that if they announce all this stuff right now and then the COVID situation gets worse, you're going to have just Steven there lining up to buy it. Actually, that's not true. You're just going to have Tim, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So do you think they'll be delayed? Because it seems
no, I mean, I think right now, like with where COVID is going worldwide, I think it's not terrible per se, but the US is the real problem. Like that's the biggest markets for gaming, and like I know they're all waiting because they're just like, well, we don't really want to announce, say like November 4th or November 8th or whatever. If the U.S. is a complete shit show and it continues to be a shit show, it's not going to happen this year. It's as simple as that. They're going to push it till next year for sure, because they're just not going to take the chance. Just think of the hassle of getting this into the hands of people. If you have all the social distancing, if you have stores closed everywhere, you have a bunch of people without work, it's just not an ideal time to launch a console.
And my final question is, which one are you going to get?
Oh, man,
get
so
3 copies of each, probably?
No. Right now, as of today, I have no intention of getting either one of them. And I know that might seem blasphemous, but the truth is I only play the Switch, and I only play it for short periods of time. It would be a complete and utter waste of money at this particular point in time. And for the Xbox in particular, I really don't know if I'll ever buy an Xbox again because all of the games are available on PC. So what incentive do I have for buying an Xbox when I can just play the game on my PC?
Yeah, the Xbox One is the most curious case because I'm wondering if what their strategy is, because it seems like even Xbox Series X games will be compatible with the One X or the One, so they'll make a game. They'll be like they'll use the PC model basically, like most PC games. They work with like PCs that were made like 5-10 years ago, depending on how powerful they were. But obviously, the best possible version of that game runs it's best if you have a super PC or most recent one. And it looks like Microsoft's going to use that model with their Xbox games. So every game will work on an Xbox One, but the optimized version obviously will be better on a Series X. So I'm not sure how this will work in the console market. We've never really had something like that. I don't think we're ready for that yet, but we'll see. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. And to be honest, they kind of don't have a choice to do something drastic because the PS4 really kicked their ass this generation. So they don't really have nothing to lose, and I'm pretty certain at some point they're probably looking at maybe getting out of the console market, because this has to be, we've been saying that now for 2 generations, but this has to be probably the last generation, right? You have to think that at some point, maybe in 10 years, everything will be on one console and people will just have their own services and whatnot. I don't know, but it seems like a weird pick. The PlayStation 5 I'm kind of interested in because I've played The Last of Us 2, and there's still a few games on the PS4 I haven't played, like Spider-Man I'm curious about, and it seems like the PS5 will be backward compatible, and I always use the PS4 for my Netflix and stuff. So I'm curious if the money's if it's not that expensive, which I think it will be, unfortunately. I think it would be something I'm curious to be purchasing. I would just need a new TV, obviously. I would feel weird buying a PS5 with the TV I have right now, which is really crap. So maybe I would need to invest in a new TV. But TVs are super cheap now. It's weird. You can get like a 4K TV, 50-inch for like $300. It's unreal.
No, I know. It's totally crazy. I mean, like, for me, like, I prefer... Well, not prefer, I don't think I would say, but, like, there's a lot of series that, that Sony has now in its first-party lineup that are of great interest to me. For me, it's just more the time. I mean, I haven't even played Last of Us 2, for Pete's sake, and that's something that, I adored. The first one was pretty much my favorite game of last generation. So, like... the interest is there. It's just I refuse to buy a system if I'm not going to use it at all. It doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. It makes no sense. So that's where I'm at right now. I mean, who knows there, right? By the time it comes out, maybe I'll have more time or something. But as of today, Xbox for sure is a no, because I can just play the games on my super PC, so it's completely useless to me. And Sony's is just like, show me something that will really interest me, and if I have the time, then sure.
Okay, cool. Still have a bit of time here. I wanted to talk about something to finish us off, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, of course, go.
So we've talked about the Isle of Armor last podcast, and the Crown Tundra is coming out. We don't have a release date yet, but I'm pretty sure it will be in November, probably during the Black Friday week, which is it the 14th this year? I don't remember, but it's around that time. And I wanted to talk, what do you think it will be? What are your hopes for it? If you have any idea about what the Crown Tundra will be. I don't know if you've read about it. So I'll give you...
I just know... Yeah, sure, no problem, man. I just know that, like, the theme is on exploration with this one. And didn't we not... I thought we talked about this in the previous podcast, no?
No, we didn't talk about the Crown Tundra yet. We just said that we thought it would be even meatier.
Bigger or whatever, yeah. Well, I think that, like, as long as Nintendo's being serious, and they said that, like... I'm not hallucinating, right? Like, they did say that this one is going to be... The theme is going to be on exploration, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure because sometimes I hallucinate and then that's the end of it. Um, so my hope for this one is that it really lives up to that theme. Like I really want a vast area that I can explore, find new pokes, things like that. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. I just almost sneezed right into my microphone. How professional is that? But I'm really hoping for that. That's my main thing, and I'm hoping that we get more than just like one or two new like pokes. I really hope that they introduce like brand new pokes, because how many brand new were in the last expansion? Wasn't it just like two?
3. You had
Yeah,
your Kubfu and your Urshifu, and you had your the new Slowbro there.
Right.
Yeah, the new Slowbro.
yeah, the evolution,
Which-
right?
Yeah, so what's the region? The Galar. Yeah, the Galarian
Galar region,
Slowbro.
yeah.
Yeah, that was it. That was my biggest disappointment too with that expansion, was that I was hoping for a few more pokes, like not necessarily brand new, but at least new Galar forms, and we did not get any. The good thing about the Crown Tundra is we already have a ton of new Galar forms announced, like the new trio of birds, like the Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres. They're all getting a new Galar form, and the Regis too are getting. There's I think 3 new Regis. One's a dragon, one's an electric one, and I don't remember what the other one is. So we're gonna get some new. At least these are announced, and plus the new mythical or legendary, whatever it was, like that weird what's it called, like it has antlers and all that. What you call that, like an elf, not an elf but an elk,
Like a reindeer type
yeah
thing,
yeah
like a deer or an elk. Yeah, elk
yeah.
is right.
It seems like it's a new like legendary creature that we've seen. I believe we've seen another one too, but there's already some new we already know there's going to be new Pokemon in that one. Plus it's like whenever there's a third version in Pokemon, usually in that version you get to catch all the past legendaries, and in this game it seems like we'll be able to do that. It seems like there'll be a specific cave where you'll be able to go into raids to catch like Mewtwo and stuff like that, all the previous legendaries, which is awesome. And I think they said it was going to be a new way to raid, like a new specific co-op raid.
Cool.
Like we haven't seen yet, so I'm not sure what that means.
Very cool.
But like maybe I'll be able to invite you to my Mewtwo raid, but I'll be able to catch it and you won't. I don't know, because that way, if it's set up like that, because Nintendo's always protective of their legendaries. Well, Nintendo, I mean the Pokemon company. They don't want you to be able to get like 100 Mewtwo's in one game. So if they made it like a regular raid, then I would be able to catch a Mewtwo in my game, but you would be able to join me and catch a Mewtwo, and then I would be able to go to your raid, catch a Mewtwo, go to my friend's raid, catch a Mewtwo, and that way I could get like so many Mewtwo's. And I already have plenty of Mewtwo's, but it's just they're so protective of their legendaries that I think it's a good thing. I think it makes them rare and valuable and desirable. Like that shiny Mewtwo of yours is something that you worked hard to get, and it's something you'll have forever, and it shouldn't be easy to get something like that. So that's what I think. I think they'll do something like that where you'll still be able to come and help me, because I think these raids will be hard. I don't think that these will be normal raids. I'm pretty sure they will be hard. I'm hoping for, at least. That would be nice, and then you'll be able to catch them. There's also a new type of competitive battling, but single player, that will be in this one. I don't remember, but yeah, I'm really curious, and this will probably be my most anticipated game right now, is that expansion, because I had so much fun with the Isle of Armor. Like I said, I've put over 50 hours into that. But to be honest, if you're not as hardcore as me, there's probably like maybe 5 hours of content in that game if you only do just the story part, which I did in my second game in Shield. I think it took me 2 hours and a half. I went straight to the point to get my second Kabfu. So if you're not hardcore, there wasn't really that much to do. So I hope Crown Tundra bumps up the story just a bit more. Maybe about 4 to 5 hours of story would be nice, and then just completing your Pokédex and getting all the new stuff. Like And there's also, I don't know if you know of this, but us competitive battlers, hardcore players, whatever, there's 2 items that's missing in the games that we would really want, that would complete like the dream, that would make making legit competitive Pokemon so much easier. Because in this gen they added nature mints, which means you could change the natures, which was one of the things that we were missing. So now if you catch a random shiny Pokemon, you can make it as perfect as you want, because you can give in bottle caps and change it nature. So there's nothing really problem. The only thing that was missing is if it's ability, because ability capsules are easy to get, but they only work with the 2 abilities they have. You can't get the hitting ability. And some Pokemon, their hidden ability is the best one. You don't really want anything else. Like for Incineroar, for example, his hidden ability is Intimidate, which is clearly the better ability than Blaze. So you want that, but there's no way to get it unless you catch it with that. But now it's already leaked. In Crown Tundra, they've figured this out, because in one of the last raids that Pokemon Company did, there was actually an item that would create that would make your game crash, because the item was not recognized, and it was a screw up by the game because it wasn't in the game. And then data miners figured out that item is actually the hidden ability capsule, which means that in the Crown Tundra you'll finally be able to get that item. So you'll be able to get hidden abilities, and apparently you can only use it once on a Pokemon. So if the Pokemon has a hidden ability and you want, I think it will work to cancel that hidden ability, but it will also do the other thing, which is perfect. So now when I'm like, I bred a shiny hidden ability Rillaboom, but if I would have hatched a normal ability shiny, like that shiny would have been useless to me. But now I'm trying to get the shiny Sabo with hidden ability. If I hatch a shiny one that's not hidden ability, I won't worry about it, because I know I'll be able to give it a capsule in the Crown Tundra, and it will have the ability I want. So that's something that's really cool. And the last thing we need is the inverse of bottle caps. So for Trick Room teams and Pokemon that you want them to have the lowest speed possible, are you like vacuuming, or what's going on there? Okay, I heard some noise. It was like somebody was like vacuuming or doing some cleanup or whatever. Okay, so the last thing is the broken bottle cap. Like if you have a Pokemon at 31 IVs or whatever, and you want it to be at 0 IVs, there's no way to do it so far, because there's a reason you would want to do that if you want your team to be as slow as possible for Trick Rooms, and that's basically the only thing we'll need now, because the IVs is the only thing that you can bring them to perfect, you can bring them up, but you can't control them, you can't bring them down. So that will be the last item needed, and I'm hoping that we get that too in the Crown Tundra, and that's pretty much it. If we do that, I'll be perfectly pleased.
Fantastic. That was beautiful. I'm almost crying.
I'm sure you had no idea what I was talking about, but
No. I understand what you're talking about. It's just that's for the people that are into the competitive scene. Absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see if they data mined it. So then obviously that other capsule should be there.
Okay, perfect.
It's all I've got.
Yeah, no, it's just because I keep hearing noises on your end, but whatever.
It's okay, people. It's his it's his head. No, it's the background noise. That's the beauty of working from home and stuff. You get tons of background noise.
Great. So I'll let you end this. I'll let you finish this, because we're almost at the end there.
All right. So, thanks for joining us, everybody. And all the footage that you saw here today, everything was captured on the Polymega. So if you saw any glitches or anything, let me know. I haven't decided what game I'm actually going to use for this, but it'll definitely be captured on the Polymega. I hope you enjoyed the podcast, and like Steven said, hopefully we'll be able to do this a little bit more frequently, because we seem to have something that seems to be working. So let's keep going. So take care, everybody, and we'll be back soon with another podcast. All right, everyone, have a good one.